Welcome, everybody, to the Art of a Peaceful Mind. My name is Kim Root, your host, and please join me in welcoming today Dihessa Bojona, who is a longtime friend of mine, and she will help us. She helps people tap into their energy to be able to manifest the life that you want. So let's invite her. Hello, Dihessa. How are you today?
Kim, good. How are you? Nice to see you again.
So good to see you. So, so let's see. The people who are here, our audience, are wanting to find more peace, maybe quiet down a busy mind, and find inner strength and tap into their intuition. So, first of all, then, how would you help people find peace and inner strength, inner peace and inner strength? How would you guide them, or what would you say?
How would I guide people into finding inner peace?
Okay, so somebody says,
Yes.
I can't stop my mind. It's so busy all the time. It keeps me up at night, and it keeps me from being able to have the life that I want.
Yeah. So for me, like I actually always go back to my own personal experience. When I was in my head so much, I was self-judging a lot. I felt like I had no value at all. My mind was so scattered. I was always outside of my body so much, thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow and what happened in the past and so on and so forth. So much so that I feel like some of my life escaped me. I was alive, but I wasn't alive. Like I missed out on so much of my life. And for me, having had some particular training, which was energy training, that helped me come back to my body. And I realized that the more I am inside of my body, the more present I am, the quieter my mind becomes, and the more peaceful I feel. And with that comes more creativity. Yeah.
So then how did that happen for you? What happened that helped you get into your body, or what does that mean?
Yeah. So what does that mean? So, well, I did start body and brain trainings, as you know, and that's really how it started for me. And when I started these trainings, what I learned is that when I can stimulate my body to come back to my body, like it's just like a training to help you come back to your body so that you can feel your body and be more present inside of your body. Then everything really started changing for me from then on. Right? Of course, I've done a lot of training, self-development training along the way. And I feel like the more I focus on that, the more I focus on coming back to myself inside of my body, the easier it's becoming actually to really feel myself and to really feel complete and to really feel letting go of all that self-judgment and all that, like feeling, I don't even know how to explain this, like really feeling okay with myself. Really feeling okay with myself, no matter what anybody else will say about me out there.
Right. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, it is important. Yeah. It's everything.
Yeah, it's everything, right? So when you can, that's sounds like the way you're saying it. When you get to that place, that's really the starting point. So So what happens then? What can people look forward to when they come into that space?
For me, actually, when I say it's everything, I really, really do believe that because I feel like so many of us, I know this was true for me, that a lot of things that we keep ourselves from doing, a lot of the things that, for example, when I can say my soul is calling me to do something, or when like deep inside, I feel like this is what I want to do with my life, but I keep like if I keep being stuck in what other people are thinking about me, or is this going to look okay, or does it fit into the mold that I should be fitting in, or are my parents going to think that this is okay, or is my sister going to think I'm crazy and stuff like that. The moment that I feel free from all that judgment from others, then like I can do anything. I feel like I can do anything, and I can make any choices that is in alignment with who I am. And from then on, I feel like that's actually when real life begins, right? Real life begins when we can take actions without worrying about what other people are thinking about us so much. And when I look at it, and even with the people that I work, I can say like 100%, anytime anybody is struggling with anything, some way, somehow, it has to do with what somebody else is going to think about this choice.
Right.
And so true freedom starts from there. But when I feel connected to myself, and I feel energetically feel myself, and I have more confidence, and I can trust myself from that space, then I don't need to worry so much about what other people are thinking about me, because I can follow that guidance. Mm-hmm. And that is very creative, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then you help people to be able to manifest what they're looking for in their life, right? So, yeah. So how does somebody do that then, or how do you help them?
So I talk a lot about energy. I talk a lot about where, where your mind goes, energy flows. Right. I talk a lot about that. Just like I said earlier, so many of us, we focus so much on the past, for example, how we did things and they didn't work out, how other people are going to think about what we're doing, or focusing so much our mind on the things that we don't want, right? We worry so much about the things that we don't want. We focus so much on the things that we are so afraid of happening, that they're going to happen in our life. So what happens in that kind of mindset is, when we focus so much on that, we create so much. I remember, I know this, every time I get, it never fails. It never fails. Every time I get on a call with a new client, when I ask them, what do you want? They always start telling me what they don't want.
So that's where the focus is, right?
That's where the focus is, right? I am so tired of living this life this way. I don't want to live it this way. I don't want to be struggling with money so much anymore. I don't want to, I don't want to. And I'm like, then what do you want? Right? So those are some of, and it's all about energy. It's all about energy, and where our mind goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, energy accumulates, and where energy accumulates, creation happens. So we work a lot on not only shifting that to focusing more on what we want, and also learning how to not only accumulate energy, but also sending energy towards our goals and our vision. But beyond that, going deeper into what do we truly want, not what other people want for us, not what society thinks that we should be having, but what do we truly want? And at the end of the day, what I see a lot is that their priorities change a lot. They manifest faster, but they find more contentment. They are happier. They find more joy in their lives, and they find more confidence. Right? They go from, I can't believe this is possible, to, all I need to do now is to choose. Right? And they choose, and they're like, it happened. Right? They choose, and it happens, and it's pretty incredible. Yeah.
Right. So that's part of brain management, right?
Yeah, it is part of brain management. Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
So, do you find, for myself, I know in my life, a lot of times it's easy. I think you said that people talk a lot about what they don't want because there's so much that we don't want, and it's easy to see the things that we don't want, right? So I don't want this, I don't want that, like you said. So I remember, like, I had my first car that I bought. For some reason, every time I got in the driver's seat of that car, I had this flash across my mind of a car accident that was that I would get into a car accident, that somebody would hit the left bumper of my car. And I didn't know why. Every time I got in the car, I had that thought, and I tried to like push it down and hide it and push it away. And one day I found all this glass. It was a used car that I bought. I found this broken window glass under my seat. And I thought, oh man, the person that sold me this car didn't tell me that it was an accident. So maybe that's what it was. Still, I had that thought. And then one day, on a rainy day, I'm driving, I go into an intersection, and boom, that accident happened. And my car was spinning around in the middle of the intersection. And I thought, oh my God, here it is. I made it happen.
You made it happen. Yeah.
Made it happen. And so, but when you get to the point of deciding what you do want, how do you find that? How do you know?
So you mean if you have, so if you mean like for you, for example, if you have these images that keep popping up of what you don't want, and you know, like you start, I actually see this a lot. People start feeling very afraid. If I keep thinking about this, it's going to happen, right? And then like all the energy now, not only the energy of, oh, I'm thinking about this, also the fear adds to it. What I do, and I have practiced it. I have gotten to practice this on a daily basis, and it has become much simpler for me. What I'm saying about this is that the more we practice this, the easier it becomes. Whenever I see anything that I'm so afraid of, or any image that pops up in my mind that shows something that I don't want, I just notice. I clearly notice. I'm not going to run away from it. I clearly accept, oh, I noticed that. Okay, so okay, this is what came to my mind now. And then I ask myself, is that what I want? If that's not what I want, then I ask myself, what do I want instead? So if what I want instead is to have safe travel, if what I want instead is to have a certain amount of money in my account at like minimum every single month, if I want, you know, then I shift my mind from here to here, and I make it my reality. I make it my reality. So like I notice this is not what I want, and then I shift my mind to this isn't what I want, and then I shift my mind to what I want instead. So for me, when I see anything that I don't want, right, number one, I notice what I feel inside, what kind of emotions come up when that thing shows up. If it's anger, if it's fear, if it's whatever, I notice it and I accept that. I completely accept that that's the feeling that I'm feeling right now. And then I ask myself, is this the way that I want to feel? Is this what my true self believes about this? If not, what do I want instead? What do I want instead? And then I clearly make an image of what I want instead. And then I vibrationally, and my whole entire body, my whole energy focuses on what I want instead. I shifted to focusing, and I actually daydream about it. Like I literally like daydream, and I focus on it in a way that it feels like it just happened, like 5 minutes ago, it just happened. I just had that money. My travel is going so well, or I just met my mother, or I just traveled to New Zealand. I'm going to New Zealand in January. Or I just did it. It just happened 5 minutes ago. How does it feel when it happens? And I completely and fully put myself in that kind of feeling instead. Right? And how I do that, how I have come to be able to do that much easier is by really connecting with my body energetically. We talk a lot about like the dungeon, the low abdomen. Whenever like I notice this, bring myself back inside of my low abdomen and then ask myself, what do I want instead? And then even though it may not be the reality for me right now, but in my mind, in my brain, it is my reality. Because again, like we learn, there is no difference between in the brain, there's no difference between what's real and what's not. Right? But if I keep feeling this way, it works like magic. It really, really does work. Whether it's about money, whether it's like I do that with, like, if I choose to get 2 new clients tomorrow, 5 new clients within the month, I do that. I just feel as if it's already real. And in my mind and in my body, I'm already working with them and I'm already doing work with them and stuff like that. And that is how it works. That's how it happens.
Mm-hmm. Right. So are there any particular things that have happened with your clients that you can share that was particularly amazing for them? Or
yeah okay, oh, I can share the most recent one. So like I said earlier, I decided to go to New Zealand. Like every year now, this is the second time that I've had a retreat in Sedona, and some of the ladies that come, they do well. All of them, when they come, everybody that came, we do this, like I call it True Self, True Biz, but part of it is finding true self. And after that, I decided that to invite them to come to New Zealand with me. And one of the ladies that said yes to coming to New Zealand, at first she said yes. And she's like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay for this New Zealand trip. And I said, do you really want to go? And she said, yes. Did you make the choice that you want to go? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, in that case, sign up, and then I'll show you how you can make this happen. Right? And she actually didn't have the money. She just put a little bit down for her payment. And we had like one-on-one session. After the one-on-one session, she was able to pay a big chunk. Like she said to me, I got 10 clients out of nowhere. Like, I don't understand what happened. You know, I don't know. And then like we have a group training with the alumni of people that came to the live event. And she came to the alumni group and is like, I don't understand what happened. I'm able to pay this. And I just spoke with her this morning and she's excited and we're all going to New Zealand. And so it's the same principle. Number one, she made the choice. Number two, she focused on what it felt like. It will feel like when she's in New Zealand. She put all her energy in there. Number three, she took action. She took action towards her goal and her vision. And yeah, it works. It works. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you keep talking about we're talking about two different things. What I hear anyway, coming into the body, right? Yeah. Which, I mean, you and I have done a lot of this kind of training, but coming into the body. So there's practices to do that. And then being able to make a choice and change your mind. So how, if somebody doesn't know, what does it mean to come into my body? What are you talking about? Like, how do I come into my body? Because usually maybe they don't even realize that they're stuck somewhere else or that they're not able to come into the present. How would you help people do that?
I'll start just like I started. I'll start with really stimulating my body, right? That's where I started. This is how everything started for me. Just by stimulating my body, of like full body tapping, or full body tapping, or low abdomen tapping, or vibration, or whatever else tools that we have to stimulate our body, so like we can force our mind to come back to our body. That's how we start. Actually, that's only the beginning, because you are so right, because when I was so outside of my body, I had no idea I was so outside of my body. I thought everything was all good, right? All I knew was things were not going as well as I would have wanted them to go in my life. You know, my kids were like, oh my God, my kids were so affected by this. They went through a lot, you know. Actually, they both are the reason why I started this training. Why? Because they were going through a hard time. My youngest son at the time, he was in pre-K, and he was, you know, like we went to lots of, you know, therapists, psychologists, blah, blah, blah. Lots of big words came up, like, you know, Asperger's and, you know, like autism and stuff like that. But it turned out it was all about our presence, all about our energy. And so he was trying to escape because it didn't feel safe to him. And the moment that we made our space safe to him, you wouldn't recognize him now. He's so well adjusted now.
Wow.
Yeah. And everybody wanted to put him on medication. Not that I have anything against medication. You know, everybody was like, oh, there's something wrong with that kid and stuff like that. But the moment we changed, and we were present enough, and it wasn't like an overnight thing, right? But the more we focused, the more we were present, the more, you know, the more we were there, and the more kind of like, he was kind of like, also, they both are kind of like our teachers, kind of, because they came here to really, it's like to wake up, you know, that's what it feels like to wake up, you're sleeping, wake up, you know. And I remember when we went to therapists or stuff like that, the one word that kept coming up for him was that your son is not here. He's not present. He's absent. He's like, that kept coming up over and over again.
In your mind, or that somebody was, who was saying that?
The therapist or the psychologist, or, you know, like when the kids are having such a, like, what do you call them? Developmental issues. And you go to specialists, and the one word that all of them agreed on, he's not present, he's absent, he checked out. Checked out. Yeah. You should see him now. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
I haven't seen you guys in quite a while. So
yeah. It's pretty amazing. He's doing very well. Right. They both are. Yeah.
So then kids are really like a good reflection for us, right?
Yes.
So if he's not present, then
we weren't present.
Maybe I'm not present. So
we were not present at all. We were, oh my God, we were so busy in our minds. Yeah. We were so busy in our mind, and anytime he will try to be present with us, of course we weren't there. We were there, but we weren't there. Like, our mind was out. And I remember when I did Finding True Self, I remember this so vividly. I remember, like, at the time, he didn't want people touching him. He didn't want me hugging him. When I would say, can I please hug you? He said, I already hugged you like 3 days ago. Why do you want another hug?
Oh, no.
Like, he was, I know. Like, I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? Other kids hug their moms all the time. And he didn't want to hug. He didn't want to do anything like that. And I remember this. I remember I came from like the workshop we call Finding True Self. And I opened the door, and he was like on the, like in the living room. But to come from the living room to the front door, you have to come down the stairs. I remember he was watching TV in the living room. And as soon as he heard me open the door, he ran to up the stairs. He took one look at me. He ran down. He gave me a huge hug. And I said, oh, what's happening? And then he literally said into my ear, I could feel your love from so far away. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
What happened? Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Huh. And he changed it from then on. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What do I say from there? Yeah. I've seen things like that happen a lot with my students who've gone to that workshop. One person, after she went, I was working with her for a long time, and after she went to the workshop, she came to me and she said, "Did you talk to my mother?" I said, "No, I don't even know who she is, but she called me and just said, 'I love you.'"
Yeah.
So, or people who their kids just start saying, "I love you." So they're more connected to they're closer to their vibration, right? Like you're talking about the connecting to your energy again. And
it's pretty incredible. It's a pretty amazing workshop. Yeah.
So can you give people who are watching any particular tips or how to start, what to do?
For what?
First to, if they're looking to quiet their mind or find what is it that they really want, or how to find their intuition, since that's, or inner peace, or inner strength.
Yeah.
How do you take the first step?
I think like I'll always go back to this. The first step is to come back to the body. The first step, all even low abdomen tapping that we do to stimulate the brainstem, for example. Like for me, when I do that, what it does is it awakens my connection with myself. From there you have guidance. From there, that will never guide you wrong. I've never experienced it guiding me the wrong way at all. The thing is that when we're not connected with that, even though that voice may be whispering, we can't hear it. If we don't feel our body, if we're not inside of our body, even though it may be speaking to us, we can't hear it. And we go out and we want to get other people's opinions on stuff, but they don't know you. They don't know me, right? The best guidance that we all have is from ourselves, from our inner voice, because we are such different human beings on the planet. Everybody is so unique. But the thing that we often do is try to take something that worked for somebody else and apply it to ourselves and hope and cross our fingers and think and hope that it's going to work because it worked for somebody else. But this is why like I use intuition so much in my work, because sometimes my intuition tells me something that it's like, I'm like, are you crazy? You said I should do what now? And those actually are the best ideas ever, right? Those things those whispers, those like little ideas that I get intuitively that seem to be out of the norm, that seem to be like insane from the outside observer. Those are the best ideas that I've ever had in my business, because why? It's very unique, because it's very it's like everybody is replicating what everybody else is doing out there. You see what I mean? But when you follow your intuition, you can come up with something that is very unique, that is not seen by, like that other people are not, or your audience is not so numb about. Like, you see what I mean? Like when people see something that they've seen over and over and over again, they see it again up there, like, okay, I've seen that before. But when we follow our intuition, we can create really pretty unique things in our lives, in our business. And I think that's fun.
Yeah.
That's the most fun thing. Yeah.
Don't afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be different. Right?
Oh, I'm so not afraid to be different anymore. I used to be. Yeah. Now I think it's pretty safe to say not anymore.
Right.
Because actually, I what I've noticed is that actually pays. It's like, it works. Who needs to be like everybody else?
Yeah, who wants to be?
It, we're not. Like in some way we are. Like we are very, very the same, but in our own so unique ways.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was going to say before, is that at the same time, you said everybody's really different, but really at the same time, we're connected, and we're human beings, and we're all connected to the earth, and in that way we have there's security in that. There's a feeling of comfort and security and peace from that too.
And the more we can embrace our uniqueness in the whole, the more we can feel the value of what we bring as and I feel like that's actually how can we claim to be connected to others when we can't even connect to ourselves?
Right. Yeah. It's really the first step all around for us and for our connection. So would you share about the free gift that you're offering to people?
Oh, all right.
Remember what it was?
forgot about that. So it's actually really like 0 point exercise. It's an energy exercise. I use it a lot. I learned it from our common teacher, our common training. I use it a lot to connect, to come back to myself. Because like we said earlier, we are not separate from anybody else. Like we are actually really one. And the way that I look at it, and I actually use that word a lot, the database of the universe, when we are able to tap into that, that's when we get very, very like unique ideas and stuff like that. And so this energy exercise is to connect with ourselves energetically. But because everything is energy, because the entire universe is energy, when we connect energetically with ourselves, we can feel one with the other, we can feel one with the universe, and we can very easily and really tap into that, intentionally tap into that database of the universe. So we don't need to ask other people questions about ourselves. We can ask ourselves. And through energy, when we can feel ourselves energetically, we can tap into the answers. We can receive the answers. We can observe and open ourselves up to receive all the answers that are already there, but we're just not listening. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And so to have access to that, if you go to dihessa.com/0 point, you can have access to that exercise.
So 0 or spelled out 0 point?
Spelled out ZERO, yeah. Yeah. PO and then point, yeah, 0 point, yeah. So dihessa.com/0 point. I'm sure you'll have the link somewhere.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Well, it was really great talking to you again, Dihessa. And
me too.
I hope to see you soon. Maybe in New Zealand.
Are you going to New Zealand in January?
No, I'm not going in January.
Okay, I'll be there in January.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait. In 1 month, less than a month.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So have a great day. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Here, everybody.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
See you
Bye.
next time. Bye. Thank you. Bye.